You know that feeling when your mind just will not stop? It is late. You should be asleep. But instead you are lying there running through tomorrow's problems, next week's decisions, that conversation you are dreading, that situation you cannot control. One thought leads to another, and before you know it, an hour has passed and you have solved nothing. You are just more tired and more wound up than when you started. That is not a modern problem. That is a human problem. And Jesus addressed it directly, calmly, clearly, and with more practical wisdom than most self-help books combined. Today we are looking at Matthew 6:34. And if you have heard this verse before and nodded and kept moving, I want to invite you to slow down today, because there is something in here that goes deeper than a calming quote. There is a whole way of living inside this one sentence. Matthew 6:34 says this, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." That is Jesus speaking. And the first thing I want you to notice is that he does not sugarcoat it. He does not say life is easy or that trouble is an illusion. He actually confirms it. Each day has enough trouble of its own. He knows. He is not asking you to pretend everything is fine. What he is asking is something different, something harder in some ways and more freeing in others. He is asking you to stay in today. This verse does not stand alone. It is the closing line of a longer teaching, Matthew 6:25 through 34, where Jesus builds a case, piece by piece, for why worry is a weight you were never meant to carry permanently. He opens in verse 25 by saying, "Do not worry about your life, what you will eat, what you will wear, your body, your needs." And then he does something brilliant. He points outside. "Look at the birds," he says. "They do not plant crops. They do not run warehouses. They do not have savings accounts. And yet our Father feeds every single one of them." Then he points to the wildflowers. No labor, no spinning thread, no effort at all to earn their beauty. And yet Solomon, the wealthiest, most decorated king in Israel's history, was not dressed like one of them. Jesus is not making a poetic point. He is making a logical one. If our Father clothes grass that is here today and gone tomorrow, how much more does he care for you? Then comes the question in verse 27 that cuts right through the noise. Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Pause on that. Has worry ever once solved a problem before it arrived? Has lying awake rehearsing bad outcomes ever made the outcome better? Has anxiety ever added anything, a single hour, a single answer, a single ounce of peace to your life? No, it never has. And Jesus knew that. He is not condemning you for worrying. He is pointing out something you already know deep down. It does not work. And you do not have to keep doing it. Now look at that word worry more closely. In the original Greek, the word is merimnao, and the root meaning is to be divided, to be pulled in two directions at once. When you are worrying, you are not fully here. Part of you is present and part of you has already traveled into a future that has not happened yet, playing out worst-case scenarios, bracing for impact, preparing for things that may never come. The divided state is exhausting, not just emotionally, physically, spiritually. It drains you of the energy you need for the actual day you are actually living. And Jesus names it. He does not say stop thinking about the future. He does not say ignore your responsibilities. He says do not be pulled apart by tomorrow. Do not let what has not arrived yet rob you of what is right in front of you. Stay here. Be present. Trust the one who is already there in your tomorrow. Because that is really what this verse is about underneath the surface. It is about trust. When we spend our days consumed by worry, when we lie awake spinning through every possible thing that could go wrong, we are quietly operating from a place that says, I am not sure our Father will be there when I need Him. I need to figure this out myself. I need to prepare for every outcome because I cannot fully trust that I am covered. That is not weakness. That is a very honest human response to a world that has let us down before. People have disappointed us. Plans have collapsed. The unexpected has shown up. So the mind learns to brace, because bracing feels safer than being caught off guard. But Jesus is calling you into something better than bracing. He is calling you into trust, real trust, the kind that says, I have done what I can do today, and I am leaving tomorrow in hands that are far more capable than my worry. That kind of trust does not come naturally. It is built, one day at a time, one moment of choosing to breathe instead of spiral, one prayer instead of one more hour of mental rehearsal, and it starts with understanding who our Father is. The same Father who designed every bird that has ever flown, who painted color into every wildflower that has ever bloomed, who set the stars in their positions and calls them each by name, that Father knows exactly what you are facing right now. He is not surprised by your situation. He is not scrambling to figure out a solution. He was already ahead of it before you even knew it was coming. And He will be present in every tomorrow you are lying awake worrying about tonight. That is not a motivational phrase. That is the foundation this verse is built on. Jesus is not just saying relax. He is saying you have a Father who sees further than you do, who holds more than you can carry, and who has never once dropped what He said He would hold. Trust that. Come back to that, especially on the days when it feels hardest to believe. So what does it actually look like to live Matthew 6:34? Because a verse without application stays on the page, and our Father does not want this to stay on the page. He wants it to change how you move through your day. Here is the first thing. Narrow your focus every morning. Before the week starts spinning in your head, before the mental to-do list takes over, ask yourself one honest question. What does today need from me? Not the whole month, not every possible outcome of every possible decision. Just today. What is right in front of you that deserves your full undivided attention? Jesus does not say tomorrow does not matter. He says do not carry it today. There is a real difference. You can make a plan. You can write things down. You can prepare, and then you put it down and you live today. That one shift from week thinking to day thinking is one of the most practical things you can do for your peace of mind. The second thing is learning to name it and release it. When a worry about the future rises up, and it will, that is just being human, try something simple. Acknowledge it. Do not fight it or feel guilty about it. Just name it, and then say out loud if you need to, that is a tomorrow problem. I will deal with it when it gets here. Then bring your attention back to right now, back to the room you are in, the person in front of you, the task in your hands. This is not avoidance. You are not pretending the problem does not exist. You are refusing to carry it before it is time. And that is actually exactly what Jesus is instructing. That is obedience in one of its quietest, most practical forms. The third thing, and this is the most important one, bring it to our Father before you try to carry it alone. Philippians 4:6 fits right alongside Matthew 6:34. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and with thanksgiving, present your requests to our Father. And then comes the promise in verse 7, and the peace of our Father, which passes all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. Notice what that verse does not say. It does not say pray and everything will be solved immediately. It says pray and a peace that does not even make logical sense, a peace that surpasses understanding, will stand guard over your heart. That is the peace Jesus is pointing to in Matthew 6:34. Not the absence of problems, not a life with no trouble, but a settled, grounded, unshakable peace that comes from knowing whose hands you are in. And it starts with prayer, not as a last resort, not after you have exhausted every other option and you are desperate, as a first move. Before the worry has a chance to take root and grow, you bring it to our Father. You lay it down, and you trust Him with it. There is something else about prayer that is worth saying. When you bring your worries to our Father with thanksgiving, like Philippians says, you are doing something powerful. You are reminding yourself of your history with Him. Think about the hard seasons you have already been through, the moments where you did not know how you were going to make it. And you made it. The doors that closed and led you somewhere better. The prayers that were not answered the way you wanted, but turned out to be answered in a way you needed. That is a track record. That is evidence. And gratitude is how you keep that evidence in front of you instead of letting fear crowd it out. Our Father has shown up for you before. He will show up again. Let me close with this. Matthew 6:34 is not asking you to be naive. Life has trouble. Jesus said so Himself. It is not asking you to ignore what is real or pretend that nothing hard is coming. It is asking you to stop living 5 days ahead of yourself, to stop spending today's energy on tomorrow's problems, to stop letting worry steal the only thing you actually have, which is right now. You were not built to carry next week today. You were not designed to solve problems that have not arrived yet. You were built to walk with our Father one step at a time.